Welcome to another video, the same every time. GCSE Maths, looking at the kind of questions that, apart from the numbers, are the same every time. Here's another exam question around speed time graphs. The speed time graph shows information about a car journey. Part A, find the deceleration of the car between 240 and 320 seconds. Part B, calculate the total distance the car travels during the 320 seconds. So, as we said in the first video, if you watched that one, I hope you have, acceleration is given by the gradient of the speed time graph, and deceleration is a similar idea to acceleration, isn't it? Acceleration is when the speed is increasing. Deceleration is when the speed is decreasing. So if we look at this graph, we can see that we have at the beginning there a positive gradient, so that would be acceleration. The speed is increasing, and just there that would be deceleration. So acceleration, deceleration, really they are the same idea. One of them is when the speed is increasing and the other is when the speed is decreasing. Always a good idea to check that your units match up. In this question, time is given to us in seconds and speed is meters per second. So meters per second matches with seconds. So that's fine. We don't need to do anything much about that. So the deceleration is going to be the gradient of the car between 240 and 320 seconds. So it's this part of the journey just here, this last part of the journey, and it would be the gradient of our line. So the gradient of the line just here, so there's the line, and it's going to be the gradient of that line just there. So change in y divide by change in x, rise over run, some people say. So my change in y, 0 to 16, so 16. My change in x, 240 to 320, and that's going to give me 80. So my change in x there is 80, rise over run if you like, however you want to say these things. So the deceleration, the gradient, is going to be 16 divided by 80. 16 divided by 80, well, that's going to give me 0.2. So 0.2 meters per second squared. Now we have to be extremely careful here. And remember this because it is of extreme importance. The actual gradient of the line is negative, isn't it? Because if the line is sloping from top left to bottom right, that's a negative gradient. But the question says deceleration. And the fact that it is negative, it is decreasing, is implied in the word deceleration. So if they ever ask you for deceleration, they need to have a positive number. Forget about the negative sign of the gradient. Okay, the gradient is negative 0.2 because it's a negative gradient, but the deceleration is just the 0.2. The word itself, deceleration, tells us that it is negative. If you write negative 0.2 for your answer there, they will not give you the marks for that. So part B, calculate the distance traveled by the car during the 320 seconds. So that's the entire journey. Well, remember from the first video, distance traveled is the area underneath the speed time graph. What most people do is split it up into individual shapes. So we have a triangle just there. There's a triangle. And we have a rectangle just here. So there we go, rectangle just there. And we have another triangle just there. So work out the area of each of those shapes and add them together. So the first triangle, the base is 30 and the height is 16. So the area of that first triangle is going to be base times height divided by 2. For the rectangle, we're going from 30 to 200 240. So 30 to 240. So the base of my rectangle is going to be 210. So 210. So the area of my rectangle is going to be just base times height, 210 times by 16. And then we have one more triangle. The base of my triangle there goes from 240 to 320. And that's going to give us 80. We just saw that, didn't we? So the base there is 80 and the height is still 16. So the area of this triangle, base times height, divide by 2. Don't forget the divide by 2. That's a mistake quite a few people make, forgetting the divide by 2. Also, I said in the previous video that the method marks are for demonstrating that you know that you should be adding areas together. So don't be writing down just a final answer. Of course, you could do the whole thing just typing numbers into your calculator, but don't. Do it something like I've done here, writing down a full method. So the total distance traveled is going to be the triangle 30 times 16 divided by 2 plus 210 times by 16 and then plus the other triangle 80 times 16 divided by 2. And I get the answer 4,240. And it is worth checking, of course, that the units are all correct. So they want our answer in meters. And if our speed is given in meters per second and the time is in seconds, then the distance traveled will come out in meters. Thank you very much for watching. I hope the video has been useful to you. I will return with the next video.